This is the only logo design guide that you need in 2025, and I'm going to condense a whole lot of content down into a relatively short video, so let's get it. Firstly, let's see how the 4 golden rules of logo design apply in 2025. Simplicity is key to any effective logo design. Think of things like MasterCard or Nike. They're simple, yet they're packed with identity. Minimalism should remove excess, not identity. That's really important to keep in mind. If your logo looks like it could belong to 5 different brands, well, you've gone too far. Here's a simple quick test for this that you can do yourself. If you remove the brand name from your logo, would people still recognize it, and importantly, would they remember it? Of course, if your logo is 100% typographic, removing the brand name is going to result in an invisible logo. So that's a different story. The second rule is versatility. 2025 is changing how people interact with brands. Logos need to work in various different environments. And these are things designers weren't even considering a decade ago. We can take a look at Spotify's dynamic logo animations. They shift colors and interact with music visuals, but still retain their core identity. And in 2025, think beyond flat graphics. Ask yourself, how will this logo look in motion? Can it adapt to a dark mode UI? And we are going to look at processes based around this soon in the video. And the third rule is actually memorability. People see hundreds, potentially thousands of logos every single day. So how do you make yours memorable? Here's the secret. Your brain remembers shapes and colors first, then details. Before adding details, test if your logo works as just a simple shape. If it's somewhat forgettable at this stage, no amount of detail or effects is going to save it. And kudos to you if you got this, but the last golden rule is scalability. Your logo isn't just appearing on billboards anymore. It's on app icons, favicons, social media avatars, and even body tattoos. But look at Instagram's logo. It has an icon version, a full text version, and even a stripped back symbol. And so you should design with multiple scales in mind. And it might look something like this. A full logo, which is a detailed version. A simplified icon for tiny sizes. Adaptive color variations for dark and light backgrounds. And a quick tip here. If your logo doesn't work at 16 pixels, it's too detailed. But more about that later. Okay, cool. You now want to design a logo, of course. But before you sketch even the slightest thing down, you need to understand a few things, including the brand, the target audience, and a few other things too. So again, ask yourself, what does this brand stand for? What emotions should it evoke? What makes it unique? An example here would be a luxury watch brand that needs to feel prestigious, timeless, excuse the pun, and exclusive. So a minimalist sans serif typeface wouldn't work here most likely. Instead, maybe engraved serif lettering that reflects heritage and class. Whereas a tech startup, well, that needs to feel bold, innovative, and disruptive. So futuristic, geometric lettering might be a better fit here. More about this later. Next, we need to identify who the logo is actually aimed towards, because, spoiler alert, it isn't your client. Your audience should completely define your design choices here. A luxury brand and a Gen Z fashion brand should not have the same logo style as an example. So ask yourself, who is the brand targeting? What do they value? Where do they interact with the brand? Now you can imagine, say, a high-end investment firm needs a logo that looks trustworthy, established, and professional. Probably a classic serif typeface with deep blues on golds or something like that, but that is quite generic, yeah. But a Gen Z fashion brand needs something bold, something experimental, so maybe even handwritten to feel unique and expressive. These are the kind of thoughts that you need to be having when considering this. The bottom line is that every logo design audience will require a different kind of language, and really good logo designers fully understand this. When it comes to logo design, shapes aren't decoration. They affect how we feel about a brand. And for me personally, shape psychology is one of the most important aspects of the entire process. Circles are friendly and approachable. Squares are reliable and structured. Triangles are dynamic and innovative, and slanted forward lines suggest motion, forward thinking, innovation, and sport. There are other shape connotations out there, but the trick is to identify the emotion and personality of your audience and then match the shape psychology to that. Now, you can think of it a lot like this. Say you need to buy a gift for someone's birthday, someone you're close to. You don't just buy them the first thing you find. You think about what that person likes, what their interests and hobbies are, and then you tailor that gift to that. This is how you need to think about logo design and shape psychology. Color and typography choices should always be driven by research, not trends. A logo must reflect the brand's identity, the audience, and the purpose, not just what's currently popular. The right color palette comes from understanding the brand's message and target audience. A luxury brand aiming for exclusivity might use deep, rich tones, while a tech company focused on innovation might need vibrant, high-energy palettes. And so to make informed choices, ask, what emotions should the brand evoke? How would the logo appear in different environments, print, digital, dark mode, light mode, so on? Is color essential for recognition here, or does the logo still work in black and white? Testing a logo in both grayscale and inverted colors can reveal whether it relies too much on color rather than a strong shape and form. The right typeface reinforces the brand's personality and should align with the audience's expectations. A tech startup may benefit from a clean, geometric sans serif that feels innovative, while a heritage brand might need a classic serif that conveys tradition and trust, which is the example we looked at earlier. Now for some key considerations about this. Does the typeface match the brand's voice? So that voice could be formal, might be friendly, might be bold, could be refined. Is it legible across all sizes, from a website header to a tiny app icon? Does it remain strong even when adjusted for weight and spacing? A well-chosen typeface and color scheme ensures the logo communicates clearly and remains functional across all mediums, and this reinforces the core research and strategy behind the brand. So now you actually have your logo. Let's look at 3 tests that you can run your designs through. A strong logo should still be recognizable when blurred, so you can apply a blur filter. If the shape is still recognizable, then you might be onto a winner. If it falls apart, your logo might be too dependent on details. The Nike swoosh still looks like a swoosh even when blurry, and I'm sure most people could recognize it in this blurred state. That's logo power. The 5-second recall test. So to show someone your logo for 5 seconds and then ask them to describe it or even draw it from memory, and if they can't, then it's not that memorable. And then the scalability test. Scale that thing down, and if it becomes an unrecognizable mess, you might have to do one of these 2 things. Either redesign the logo or create a favicon simplified version. The full Airbnb wordmark and symbol work beautifully on their website and large billboards, but if you shrink that down to a favicon size, the full logo becomes unreadable. That's why they created a simplified favicon version, just the bellow symbol without any wordmark. This ensures that even at 16 pixels, their brand remains recognizable and distinct. What about the English Premier League logo? That has at least 4 different formats for different situations. This is how logos need to be thought out in 2025 in terms of different use cases.